Uh, uh. Oh my gosh. I just got the best idea ever.
Censkai.
Everybody, I have an amazing idea. In order to wash the taste of forces out of my mouth, I decided we should have a party. And not just any kind of party as well. It's a Sonic party. And what better game to play than Sonic Shuffle, a literal party game that I will be playing by myself because I have no friends. I actually have no experience with this game since when it originally came out, I didn't own a Dreamcast. I actually didn't own a Dreamcast until I was a grown adult. I actually bought it for Jet Grind Radio before they did the HD re-release. So, don't judge me for my life choices, Kay. Thanks. Sonic Shuffle has the distinction of being the only Sonic game not developed by Sonic Team. In fact, it was developed by a completely different company, Hudson Soft. If you're not familiar with Hudson Soft, they were a major development company who worked closely with many big-name publishers, including Nintendo, Konami, and of course, Sega. Hudson Soft ceased to exist, however, when they voluntarily chose to merge with Konami Industries back in 2012, but they left some major gaming accomplishments behind in their wake. These include the Bomberman series, the Bloody Roar fighting games, and Mario Party? Okay, so here's the supposed formula. You get the company that works on the Mario Party series, and then you ask them to take your creative license, and then you ask them to smash it together to create a party game that is either a stroke of genius or a blatant sabotage of your brand. Most likely the latter, honestly. The idea of a Sonic party game is already interesting in of itself. The fact that a competent developer like Hudson Soft worked on this title just makes me more excited to try it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get this game started. Well, the internal battery in my Dreamcast is dead, so I guess we're back in 1998. Which is alright with me, dog. Just means I get to get jiggy with it with my fly home skillets. I promise I will never do that again. Please don't leave me. I'm begging you. One more time for me? Uh-huh. Okay. Yep, that's definitely Sonic Shuffle. Glad I checked that. Wait, there's a story mode? A story in a party game does sound pretty weird, but hey, I'm always up for expanding the Sonic universe. Okay, on second thought, maybe not always. Before our adventure begins, we have to select our character. I'm gonna pick Amy, since she happens to be one of my favorite Sonic characters. Well, I'm definitely not gonna have any nightmares after that. I'm going to put all the computers on easy. Mostly because I have never played this game before, and I need the advantage. The story begins, and already our heroes find themselves being teleported into a strange world. But not before we get a full force crotch shot of Sonic. Already, just based off these opening moments alone, I can confidently say that these story cutscenes are just the worst. Every character model is just so stiff, and they all have such awkward animations, especially Sonic's mouth movements.
Well, one thing's for sure, we stumbled into a very strange place. Very strange place.
Very strange place.
The voice actors don't really help the experience either. They're the same actors from Sonic Adventure, except that Ryan Drummond, the voice of Sonic, is also doing Knuckles this time around, but they all suffer from really poor direction. I'm not gonna argue that they were all that great in other Sonic titles, But at least there they were goofably passable and were having fun with their roles. Here they're just a pain to the ears, especially Lumina Flowlight here. She informs us of our current location, which happens to be...
Welcome to Imaginary World.
Well, that's just stupid. Really, this is a serious thing right now? Imaginary World. Imaginary World, really? It just sounds so dumb. Why not go with something like, I don't know, Dream Zone? It keeps in line with other Sonic naming conventions using zones, or they could go with literally anything else, but nope! Imaginary World. Because why not? Imaginary World is a world created from the dreams of those from other dimensions. Sonic and pals are told that they arrived because they heard Lumina's message for help, which I'm not too sure how since they don't mention hearing this so-called message, but we'll roll with it, whatevs. They are currently in the Temple of Light that once held the Precious Stone, responsible for creating all of Imaginary World. A being named Void, however, has destroyed the Precious Stone, breaking it into pieces that were spread about Imaginary World. As a result, the protector of this world, a goddess named Illumina, has been weakened and sent far away. Our goal is to find these pieces and bring them back so that Imaginary World can thrive under Illumina once again. Our heroes unanimously agreed to help, with Knuckles being a tsundere jerk about it.
Well, I've got nothing better to do.
And we are on our way to the first world.
Wow, what a beautiful beach! A tropical island paradise created from the dreams of those who enjoy the sun.
Wait, then why is it a tropical paradise? If they just enjoy the sun, then it could be anywhere the sun is, like a park, or a field, or the middle of a barren desert.
We stumbled into a very strange place.
Wouldn't those dreamers also have to dream about the sea air, the feeling of sand in their toes, or the gentle wave of the ocean in order for a whole tropical paradise to appear? I know I'm nitpicking, but look, I'm starting to question the credibility of a world made of dreams. Also, I'm still really mad about the name Imaginary World. Seriously! It's dumb. This tropical paradise is encased in ice, and we have to collect the shattered Precious Stone shards in order to save it. We begin our first stage, Emerald Coast, and gameplay is what you would expect from a party game. You move around a board, collect powerful objects to be your opponents better, and occasionally play a minigame. Instead of being a full-on party game ripoff, Sonic Shuffle does have its own set of unique mechanics that separate itself from the pack. For one thing, movement is handled by cards. Every player is dealt a hand of cards that allow you to move to a specific amount of spaces. You can move in any direction on the board, but only in that direction once you move, so no doubling back. I actually like this system, as it allows for more strategy when you're navigating to an advantageous space on the board, or when trying to reach one of the pieces of the Precious Stone before your opponents do. But that's not all, as you can also select other players' cards from their hand. Want to save a card for future turns? Just use your opponent's. They didn't need them anyway. There is a risk to this though. There are also two special card types mixed in with the normal numerical ones. First are the S cards. These can be used for a few effects, like switching cards in different players' hands or rolling a roulette to move 1 to 7 spaces. The other special card is the Eggman card. Selecting this card causes Eggman to appear and cause a random negative effect to the board. As a game mechanic, being able to steal other players' cards and then punish them for stealing yours sounds like a great idea for a multiplayer game. It's just too bad this is a single player mode and this game cheats! I can't count how many times the computer happened to select the right number card from my hand to get where they needed to go, leaving me in the dust. And in case you think I'm crazy or that I'm being paranoid, I actually looked it up, and yes, the computer players know what cards each player has that is 4 or higher, even on the easiest difficulty. They also use S cards and Eggman cards randomly, thinking that they are higher number cards, but this isn't really a good disadvantage for them since they can use all of your good cards and leave you with nothing, especially when you've been saving the right card to get to the Precious Stone and now you're stuck while someone else steals it from your grasp. While on the subject of computer AI, they are also really good at the minigames, like scarily good. I played on the easy difficulty and they could still put up a tough front. It also doesn't help that the game does a really poor job of explaining the rules for a lot of the minigames, and unlike other good party games, Sonic Shuffle doesn't let you practice minigames before you play them, which means that the computers have the advantage every time you play a new one. The minigame controls are also really unrefined. Running around feels floaty, and actions seem to lack impact, always making me wonder if I'm playing the game right. The computers don't have this issue because they can execute everything at a near perfect level. The only time where this isn't an issue are the luck-based games, which usually have you stationary and not moving. And I could forgive all of that, every single part of it. I could forgive the poor controls, I could forgive the difficulty, if only the games just weren't so boring. And I mean it. Very few minigames are actually fun. Most of them are just really derivative versions of other good minigames from other good party games. Most games have no turn or time limit, meaning that they can drag on for an excruciating long time. Minigames in Sonic Shuffle don't occur at the end of every turn either. Minigames only happen when a player lands on a minigame space, so that means you could spend a whole turn playing slow and boring minigames. The mini events aren't much better either.
No!
These are random events that you can also trigger on the board that are similar to event spaces from Mario Party, but they don't affect the actual board. Instead, they are scripted events that you watch with still images in the background. Some of them contain choices that can change the outcome, but they usually just repeat the same result, and you can't skip them, making them annoying to sit through. Just watching some of them can feel so surreal. They use this medieval art style that just doesn't fit the aesthetic of a Sonic game. I guess it's supposed to feel like a dreamlike sequence since we're in imaginary world, but they just suck, plain and simple. Oh, the board doesn't get a free pass from all this either. Computers take forever performing actions like selecting cards and moving, which just slows down the game's pace even further. There is an option you can select to make them move at high speed, but all it affects is how fast they can select cards. What kind of option is that? If it doesn't make them move at literal Sonic speed, then why even have the option in the first place? They still move slowly and make choices slowly. Every board, despite having different shapes, are built very similarly. There are always two random spaces that move you to another random space, and spaces that are unavailable to land on at certain times. There are unique hazards available to every board though, and Emerald Coast happens to have the most stressful part of any Sonic game built right into it. Oh gosh. I don't care who you are. As soon as you hear that music, all you can feel is stress. Just stress. The goal of each map is to collect 6 precious stone shards. Once you collect 5 of them, the last shard appears guarded by its own unique guardian. You earn these shards not by buying them with rings, but instead by fighting guardians. That's right, there's combat in this party game, and not just the fighting that happens in minigames. No. I'm talking about real, unbridled, and visceral combat. I lied. I'm sorry, I lied. Sonic Shuffle has random encounters. You can trigger these by landing on the correlating space or by fighting guardians of the precious stone shards. Combat boils down to picking a card from your hand and choosing the number on the roulette that is equal or higher than the monster's number that you're facing. The only benefits of combat are to either defeat guardians for a precious stone shard or to gain force jewels. Force jewels are like the power-ups of Sonic Shuffle, and they are generally used to mess with your opponents. So when you kill an enemy with the exact number of its health, you perform a critical hit, and you get 2 force jewels instead of 1. The timing of the roulette is very tricky. Even after all the fights I had throughout all the boards I played, I still have problems landing on the right number during combat. It just has this really odd rhythm that I can't figure out. You can make this easier by selecting your S card, since it always allows your character to use their combat special. For example, Amy's special always does 5 damage, which makes it easy to kill a majority of enemies, but it makes it very difficult to hit criticals. You can also select the Eggman card in battle, but picking it makes you immediately lose. Seems fitting. I should mention that there are also movement specials. Sonic can move at greater distances by repeating card numbers, Tails flies over obstacles, Knuckles can climb walls, and Amy smashes the ground so hard that she goes flying through the air and completely flashes her underwear to you. What is with this game and wanting to show us our main character's groins? No, stop it. No, stop it. Ah! So yeah, you collect shards, play minigames, suffer through an unbearably slow game flow, and beat up strangely designed enemies. It doesn't really get any more exciting than that. Sometimes random things happen on the map that add a bit of variety, like this weird fish boat that just gets up and just flies away. Goodbye, weird fish boat. Have a nice journey. Sometimes you can get an accident event. I'm not sure what triggers these, as Lumina here never explains it, and the tutorials offer nothing on them. They're just a minigame that you play. Sometimes. They're just as bad as the other games, but they just last longer, and all they do is give out rings. There's literally nothing else to them. As a team, we finally collect all the Precious Stone shards, and then defeat the final Guardian. Wait, what? Well, these happen at the end too? Oh, the ice melted, and now we have to surf through it. That's kind of cool, actually. I like the idea that we have to finish the level by dealing with the after effects of saving it. That's a pretty clever idea. But once again, the only thing really putting a damper on it are the shoddy controls. Especially this surfing game, since I can't seem to control where I go, and you end up so far away that the obstacles become harder to see coming. Once the game is finished, we are then judged for our performances by Hellfire. Then we're treated to another lovely cutscene showing Void destroying the Precious Stone and... Why do we need to see that? Weren't we already told this by Lumina earlier? Why show us a flashback of it now? What purpose does showing it now serve? None. There is no purpose. What a waste. Well, that's a whale. On to the next level.
This is a world that has lost its wings of freedom.
Here we find ourselves on top of a phoenix, and despite soaring through the air on top of a legendary bird, it's not really that exciting. This particular board has the unique hazard of having parts of the ship blow up, which I did not know until it was too late. Even with that unfortunate accident, no, I actually get first place. Now time for another awkwardly paced cutscene. Yep, nothing interesting here.
You're lying.
The Phoenix becomes free, and now we move on to our next level, the Nature Zone. And this is where I got absolutely trashed by the CPUs. Now, before this, I didn't have much trouble navigating the boards and outplaying the CPUs. The minigames were an entirely different story, of course, but I was usually able to use my cards well and grab Precious Stone shards before my opponents. What happened to me in Nature Zone, though, will haunt my dreams forever. During the course of the stage, Knuckles ended up paying Void to steal a shard. Afraid that he was going to catch up, I decided to try and aim for the last Precious Stone as fast as possible, when I got blocked by not having a key. A chest had opened up earlier in the stage, but it was never mentioned that the items inside it were keys. I couldn't reach it in time, and at this point, Knuckles had already stolen a second shard. So in an act of desperation, I tried to steal one shard from Knuckles, but it kept failing because earlier in the stage, Knuckles kept using Force Jewels to reduce his space on the roulette, making it nearly impossible to select him. It was then that Sonic beat the last Guardian, causing the stage to end. Well, I didn't get first place, but that's okay. We saved all the Precious Stones, so now we can put it together and move on to the next area, and... What the f... This makes no sense. Look, I get it. It's a game, and losing is bad, but in the context of the story, this just doesn't work. We're all working together to save Imaginary World, so why would it matter if I don't get first place? This makes it even worse because now I have to replay the whole stage, and these stages take over an hour to get through. An hour! I had to replay this stage 3 times just to win. That means watching CPUs stumbling through their turns and playing boring minigames over and over and over. But it's okay. I did it. I did it all. I finished the level. What's the next cutscene?
What is your dream?
I don't know. I guess 1 million subs would be cool.
My dream. Someday, I want to be like Sonic.
Or that works too, I guess. The jungle grows back and we're off to our next level, an out-of-control train. This level is nothing special and I beat it pretty soundly. Turns out in order to make Void whole again, we need to travel back to the Temple of Light after getting the last Precious Stone in the 4th dimension. Not only is this map a bit hard to navigate already, but it's also just a bit too trippy for me. This stage is also the only stage in the game that has slowdown, where you have to wait a full second or two before it even prompts a character to choose their cards. Nothing like making a slow game even slower. Getting to the end of the stage causes a boss fight with Void, and this fight is everything the game should have been. You have to work as a team in order to deal damage to Void by stepping on light switches. Dealing damage drops rings, and the winner is whoever has the most rings at the end. This was actually fun. Why couldn't every level use a final boss instead of a final minigame? This would have been a lot more effective for the story mode to make it feel like more of a cooperative effort between the heroes with competitive elements peppered in. Oh well. We defeat Void and we find out that he's the negative emotions used to create dreams. Void and Lumina then fuse together to become the goddess Illumina, who vows to create a stronger imaginary world. And then credits. This game didn't make me feel much better. Sonic Shuffle is a boring party game. It suffers from already painfully slow-paced gameplay that further gets interrupted by uninspired and unpolished minigame. The story makes little sense, and coupled with the awkward character models and terrible voice acting, makes it laughable at best. Playing as other characters does unlock different scenes with Void in order to find out more about him, but why would anyone want to do that when it requires you to trudge through the full story mode again? While there are a few nuggets of interesting gameplay elements every now and then, such as the final boss fight, they are so few and far in between. The versus mode doesn't fare much better either. While playing it with friends is much better and allows full use of the game's features, it still pales in comparison to other party games that just do the party formula better, some of them even being created by the same developer. I don't know why Sonic couldn't get the same treatment as other franchises from an already proven competent developer, but as it stands, Sonic Shuffle is just a sad, uncreative mess of a game. All I wanted to do was play something to lift my spirits. Now I'm probably just gonna sink back lower into my Sonic blues. That's not a pun on Sonic's colors. I'm still incredibly depressed. All that's left to do is do something about this monstrosity. That'll do. Hey everybody, thanks so very much for watching this video. It does mean a whole lot to me. If you did enjoy it, I appreciate a like button. If you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe. It shows me that everybody wants more and I will work harder to get that out for you. I do have some other videos that you're more than welcome to watch while you wait for my next one. I've got my review of Sonic Forces right here, or you could watch my Tonic Trouble review. That was fun. If there's nothing else, I'll see you guys later. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.